Welcome, savage dreamers. Welcome, quiet storm, awakening. Welcome, all hearts pounding with silent purpose. Welcome, every soul who dared to throw something into the void and watched it catch fire. Welcome every soul who dared to test the waters and found themselves swept into a raging current. Welcome to the edge of chaos where ordinary becomes extraordinary. Welcome to the raw electric shock of a spark that turned into wildfire in your hands. Welcome to the moment where you realize that what you tossed away as experiment became your life, pulsing alive under others' eyes and breathed into existence something unstoppable. You feel the tremor in your bones. You feel that undeniable tickle in your chest that says, this moment is different. This is the thing that changed everything. This is the whisper turned raw below your ribs. This is the wild lightning bridge between what you thought was nothing and what became something unstoppable. And now, if you feel that fire, if you feel that reckoning, begin right now. You owe it to that spark. You owe it to that blind throw into the void. You owe it to the universe that answered. You owe it to yourself to keep going. Go all in. You must subscribe, like, and comment now. And you must do this because you are alive, because your soul is shouting, because you know that this single second changed everything. And by pressing those buttons, you are not just part of this story. You are claiming your place in it. You are the wildfire. You are the test-turned legend. So subscribe, like, and comment with every ounce of your being. Let everyone know you are here, that you are witnessing this metamorphosis, that you are no longer a passive observer. You are a creator. You are a believer. You are the force that wills this spark into unquenchable flame. Now listen to the rhythm echoing inside your skull, the beating heart of something darker, stronger, more potent than fear, more alive than doubt. You tossed out that idea, that post, that half-hearted experiment, and you watched it rip through the air like a phantom, unleashed like a ghost, turned into cyclone, like every unseen pixel trembled and gathered into roar, like every silent watcher erupted into echo, like the world leaned in and gasped. You never meant for this to happen. This wasn't supposed to go viral. Not in your wildest shadowed dreams, not in your seeking heart. And yet it did. And that is your war cry. Now that it did, that spark, that flame, that wildfire, it belongs to no one but you. It is your creation forged in risk, born in recklessness, glowing in uncertainty, and now pulsing with potential. Feel how low and dark the ground is beneath your feet. Feel how dense the silence was before this moment, how thick the doubts, the half-thoughts, the flickers of maybe and what if. Now all of that drowns under the magnitude of what you unleashed. You posted just to test it, as if you had nothing to lose, and suddenly the world leaned in and you had everything to lose and everything to gain. All the stakes, all the eyes, all the silent watchers turned thunderous in your direction. You are standing at the chasm that separates, trying from triumph. You are standing at the rift that separates being unseen from being undeniable. You are standing at the brink of either walking away into the quiet or pushing forward into the blaze of what you started. This is the crucible moment. This is the furnace of your becoming. Let the weight of that moment sink into your gut. Let it carve into you like molten steel, molding the iron of your will. You thought maybe nothing would happen. You thought that no one would care. You thought that if it did by accident, that you could duck back down into shadows. But the world did not let you shrink. Not now. Not when you dared. The world reached back and shouted loud enough to break your silence, loud enough to break you open, loud enough to demand you stand and roar. Louder than the spark could alone. You cannot go back. You cannot pretend it never happened. You cannot let doubt reclaim you. Now, you must push forward with everything you have, because that ember that exploded into flame, it expects you to fan it. It expects you to carry the blaze forward into the dark places, into the corners where no one ever looks, because there you will create the next spark. There you will ignite the next fire. There you will forge the next reckoning. So harness that dark energy, that electric thrill, that burning awareness that you upset the balance, that you interrupted the stillness with your wild throw. And now, the world pulses in reaction. You are not the same person you were 5 minutes ago. You are not even the same person you were 1 second ago when you hit post. You are the you that cracked open the cage of possibility. You are the you that risked nothing and gained everything. You are the you that discovered that what you started cannot be contained. And if it cannot be contained, then you must carry it forward. You must become the wind behind the flame. You must become the storm that carries it forward. You must rise and say, I am here. I am alive. I started this, and I will not stop until the world hears every echo of it, until the spark becomes inferno, until the test becomes the proof, until uncertainty becomes legacy. There will be shadows, there will be expectations, there will be fear from corners you never suspected. There will be voices whispering that it was a glitch, a fluke, a glitch that cannot be trusted. But you know better. You felt the pulse in your chest. You felt the echo in your soul. You know that you didn't hitch a ride on luck. You know that you dared to fling your spark into the void, and the void answered back. You know that you are not a glitch. You are the catalyst. You are the fracture. Point. None of this is done. None of this can end now. Not when the heat of your making still burns. Not when the watchers still wait. Not when the world shifted because of you. You cannot retreat. You cannot stop. You must continue fanning the flames. You must feed the fire with every ounce of your will until the heat becomes unquenchable, until your spark is a tidal wave, until this wasn't supposed to go. Viral becomes the echo of how legend begins. Feel how the edges of the world sharpen around you. Feel how the atmosphere hums with the ripple you authored. Feel how every moment forward is now amplified with the gravity of what happened. You walk now with a tailwind born of your own permission. You walk now with the thunderclap of voices and eyes and hearts responding to you. You walk now with the knowledge that you accidentally tapped into something universal. You walk now in the shards of reality rearranged in the wake of your post that took off. And so you walk imperiously. You walk as wildfire. You walk as reckoning. You walk as proof that what you send into the void can be returned tenfold if you have the guts to stand in its glow. There may be those who want to tame it, to dismiss it, to narrow it to make it safe. But you were never safe. You were never small. You were never tame. You were the storm in the first place. You were the spark in the first place. You were the reckless question in the dark. You were the chaotic heartbeat off rhythm. You were the glitch that refused to be quiet. You were the test that turned into a cyclone. You were the thread that unraveled into the tapestry. You were the ripple that became the wave. And that wave will not calm. The wave will not submit. The wave will not be outsourced to comfort or convention. The wave will consume. You only decide how you ride it. So ride it with savagery. Ride it with precision. Ride it with the knowledge that you are now a force of your own design, that the world tuned in because you dared, that what you tossed into the void became its own gravity. that you are no longer passive, that what came back to you demands that you now become bigger, braver, louder, uncontainable, unstoppable. You are the pilot of your own eruption. You are the center of your own storm. You are the architect of your own reckoning, and let none tell you otherwise. The road ahead will oscillate between ecstasy and agony, between brilliance and madness, between clarity and chaos. But that is the road the spark demanded. That is the road the flame carved. That is the road only those who risk being seen walk. That is the road you now walk, because you posted just to test it. You posted just to see what would happen, and it took off. So take the world with it. So cultivate it. So carry it. So command it. So let your unquiet heart lead until the echo of your spark rings louder than the silence that came before. And let the world bend and bow and burn in recognition that you are alive, that you are claiming space, that you are making history by simply refusing to drift quietly. You are the storm. You are the spark. You are the reckoning. You posted just to test it, and it took off. And now, there is no going back because you have glanced into the furnace of possibility and felt how it glows. And now you must bring that glow to every place that thought darkness would hold. You must carry that glow into every room that has never known combustion. You must forge that glow into every dream that silently trembles in the shadows. You must thrust that flame into every vein of possibility until the world pulses brighter, because you made it do so, because you posted just to test it and it took off. And because it took off, you will make sure the flame never burns out, because the flame is you, because you are the flame, because you are the reckoning, because you are the one who dared to see what would happen. And now look what happened. So go forward. Let the fire you sparked blaze through every barrier. Let it blaze through every self-doubt, every shadow, every chastening whisper that dared to say slow down or be careful. Or, how about maybe next time? Let it blaze through until your spark becomes the sun, until your reckless test becomes the standard, until you look back and see how far that ember carried you, and you realize that you were never small, you were never testing, you were always destined to ignite the world at your hands. You posted just to test it, and it took off, and now nothing in the world can stop you, because you now carry that fire in every breath. Fire forged from daring, born of risk, nurtured by possibility, and you will carry that fire into every tomorrow, until the world burns brighter, because you dared to throw that spark, and the universe answered. There is no silence now, not like before, not like the stillness that wrapped around you when you hovered your finger over that post button, not like the cold that came before the flame. Now, there is only the hum, the deep, endless drumbeat of something waking, something real, something ancient, something forged in the marrow of all who ever dared, something born from risk, from the raw nerve, from the exposed soul. And now you feel it, don't you? It won't let you rest. It won't let you hide, because you were chosen by your own defiance. You were marked by your own willingness to try. And the world, the moment, the algorithm, the stars, whatever name you give it, it saw you, it heard you, it roared back in recognition. And that roar is yours to carry now. Do not shrink from it. Do not apologize for it. Do not question whether you deserved it, because that question is the poison that kills most beginnings. That question is the ghost that haunts genius. That question is the blade that slices before momentum can gather. And you are past that. Now, you are already in motion. The fire already burns you, already lit the fuse. You are already seen, and what's more, you are remembered, and you are not remembered, because you planned for it or perfected it or followed someone's rules. You are remembered because you let go. You threw it out there, wild and reckless and vulnerable. And in that single unfiltered act, you touched something real, something people didn't even know they were looking for until they saw it. And once they saw it, they couldn't unsee it because your truth, your timing, your madness, it became part of them. And now, every time you hesitate, every time you start to doubt, every time you start to wonder if maybe you should have just left it there as a one-time thing, remember this: it took off because it wasn't safe, it wasn't packaged, it wasn't pretend, it was you raw, it was your instincts unleashed. And that's what people connected with, the thing that wasn't polished, the thing that wasn't planned, the thing that was just real. And that is your power, that is your anchor, that is your proof that you don't need permission. You are the permission. You don't need a blueprint. You are the blueprint. You don't need a strategy. You are the storm. So take that storm and expand it. Take that pulse and amplify it. Take that flame and feed it. Feed it with more risks, with more truth, with more of your insane, impossible, wildest ideas. The ones you never thought you'd share. The ones that make your stomach twist. Because those are the ones that carry lightning. Those are the ones that change the sky. Those are the ones that shift the entire energy of the room. Those are the ones that build worlds, and you are building a world now, whether you meant to or not, whether you planned for it or not. You threw the stone, and now the ripples are infinite. There will be days where it feels like a fluke, where the momentum seems to slip through your fingers, where the views dip, or the feedback fades, or the silence returns. And that's where most people stop. That's where most people walk away saying, maybe it was just luck. Maybe it was just one time. Maybe I'm not that person after all. But you are not. Most people. You never were. If you were, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be hearing this. You wouldn't be feeling this burning behind your ribs. Like a brand, you wouldn't be still standing in the aftershock of your own becoming. Because this was not luck. This was alignment. This was recognition. This was the universe mirroring back your force. Because you dared to send it. Unfiltered, unashamed, unedited. And now the mirror is still reflecting you, still watching, still waiting for what comes next. And the only question now is whether you will rise to match your own potential, whether you will dare to be as bold again, whether you will light another match, even though your hands are still shaking, even though your heart is still thundering, because that fear, it never leaves. And it's not meant to fear, is the fuel. Fear is the sign you're on the edge again, and the edge is where fire lives, and you are fire. Now, you are the combustion, you are the burning breath, you are the flicker that others will follow, and wonder how you started so small and became a blaze so unstoppable. They can't even remember the world before you lit it up, and you must never forget that it all started when you stopped asking for results and just acted when you posted, not to go viral, not to be famous, not to be recognized, but just to test, just to try, just to see. And now that act has shifted everything. Now that seed is a forest. Now that whisper is thunder. There is weight in that. There is gravity in there. There is a promise made. And now you must carry it because people are watching. But more than that, you are watching the version of you that began. This is watching, waiting, hoping, praying that you don't stop. Now, that you don't retreat back into the shadows, that you don't become afraid of your own strength, because that strength is why you're here. That strength is what gave the spark room to breathe, and you cannot let it die. Not now, not when you're this far, not when you've already cracked the sky open. You posted just to test it, and it took off, and now you are being pulled into a new orbit, a new realm, a new threshold where nothing is guaranteed and everything is possible. And that should terrify you, because it means you are on the right path. The unknown is where miracles hide. The void is where power grows, and you have already proven you can thrive there because you came from it and you returned with fire in your hands. So keep going, even when it feels like too much, even when no one understands it, even when the numbers don't line up, because this was never about the numbers. This was about the signal. This was about the moment you sent your heartbeat into the dark and it came back as an avalanche of light. This was about the moment you stepped forward without a plan and the ground rose to meet your feet. This was about the moment your voice cracked open and the world remembered how to feel. Now make them feel again. Make them question again. Make them burn again. With every word, every post, every raw thought, every hidden truth you're still afraid to share. Give it all, because the test is over. This is the mission now. This is the calling. This is the truth behind every viral story, every overnight success, every moment that exploded into legend. It all starts with someone throwing a match into the dark and not looking back. You are that someone. You lit that fire. Now it's time to burn the whole world awake. There is no turning back now. The line is drawn and you crossed it long ago. Maybe you didn't know it then. Maybe you thought it was temporary, that it would fade and you could slip back into your old rhythm, into your quiet shadows, into your silence. But the silence has changed, hasn't it? Now, silence feels loud. Now silence feels like betrayal. Now silence feels like a wound. Because once the world has heard your voice, you can never unspeak it. Once the flame has caught, you can never pretend the forest wasn't burning. Once you've felt what it's like to be seen, to be felt, to be known, even for a flicker, there's no way to erase that mark, no way to shrink into who you were before. And deep down you don't want to. You think maybe you do on the hard days, on the empty days, on the days when nothing moves and no one claps, and your heart feels too heavy to carry. But underneath even that pain, there is something sharper, something truer, something ancient that says no, I can't go back, because going back would kill me, because going back would mean lying to myself about who I really am, because going back would mean setting fire to everything I just built, just because the road ahead is harder than I thought. You posted just to test it, and it took off. And now every second forward is a fight between who you were and who you're becoming. And that fight will cost you. That fight will tear you open. That fight will burn everything, comfortable, down to ash. But that's the point. You were never meant to stay comfortable. You were never meant to stay hidden. You were never meant to stay small. You were meant to stretch so wide that the sky had to break to hold you. You were meant to rise so tall that fear had to learn your name. You were meant to become a version of yourself that your past self couldn't even imagine. And to become that version, you will have to bleed. You will have to break. You will have to build again and again and again, and still show up when there is no applause. Still show up when no one believes. Still show up when your voice trembles, when your hands shake, when your soul feels hollow and empty and numb. Because that's when most people stop. That's when most people turn back. But not you. Not now. Because you've tasted it. Because you've felt it. Because you've seen the truth. And the truth is this: the flame isn't outside of you. It never was. The flame is you. You are the combustion, the ignition, the fuel, and the fire, and the force that drags light into places where there was only dark before. And you must keep going because this world is starving. Starving for real. Starving for risk. Starving for voices that don't echo each other. Starving for the spark you carry. The raw edge, the chaos, the authenticity, the truth. The thing that cannot be copied. And you have it, and you know you have it, or else none of this would have happened. You posted just to test it, and the world didn't just react. It responded. It recognized you. It said, "We need more of this. We need more of you." And now every moment you hesitate, every moment you delay, every moment you silence yourself again, the world loses something it didn't even know it needed until you gave it once and it caught fire. So give it again and again and again until the fear burns away, until your voice becomes second nature, until your very existence commands attention and presence and impact and purpose. You are not here to be convenient. You are not here to be digestible. You are not here to be what they expect. You are here to shift expectations, to reshape momentum, to redefine what one act, what one spark, what one voice can do. And you've already done it once, which means you can do it again, which means you can do more than you ever imagined. And the only thing standing between the fire you've lit and the inferno it could become is how long you wait before you throw the next match. So don't wait, don't ask permission, don't seek perfection. You already have what it takes because you already did it. And the fire that started wasn't a fluke, it wasn't a lucky shot. It was proof. Proof that your instincts are right, that your voice matters, that your chaos has meaning. And if it happened once, it can happen again and again and again until the world is shaped in the image of your courage, until the world bends around the flame you bring, until the fire never fades, because you chose to keep showing up. Wow, you don't need a map anymore. You are the map. You don't need the rules anymore. You wrote new rules. You don't need to fake polish or craft illusion or mirror others, because what you did raw, what you did unplanned, what you did when you just wanted to see what would happen, was more powerful than all their perfect plans. And that is terrifying, and that is beautiful, and that is exactly why you must continue. You are the aftermath. You are the unexpected. You are the variable no one calculated for. You are the test that became the result that shattered the algorithm. You are the heartbeat that disrupted the pattern. And now the pattern belongs to you. Now the path is yours to forge. Now the echoes belong to your name. Let them doubt you. Let them question. Let them try to box you in, because every box they try to build is already ash by the time you reach it. Because you don't move in lines. You move like fire. You burn in spirals. You consume the very air that tries to contain you. And that is your power. That is your gift. That is what makes you unstoppable. So do not stop now. Not for silence. Not for doubt. Not for fear. Not even for rest. Because the rest will come. When the world is burned bright enough with your fire, the rest will come. When your spark has ignited 10,000 others, the rest will come. When your one act of courage becomes a revolution of voices and truths and risks and flames. And it all began because you posted just to test it, and it took off. Now imagine what will happen when you post with full intention, when you post with fire in your lungs and thunder in your voice, when you post not to test but to claim, when you post not to wonder but to conquer. This is only the beginning. You are only now waking up to what you truly are. So rise and burn and speak and shake the sky again, because you have no idea how far this fire can go. And the world hasn't even begun to burn yet.